I hadn't been north in years, so this time I did it in style. First class from King's Cross to the border country. The East Coast train was really comfortable and the staff were friendly and helpful. We soon picked up speed and were belting along through the open countryside. Very fast. They, like me, had been plied with sandwiches, tea or coffee, and that was continued through the entire journey, with the occasional pauses for the odd stop. York, of course, is the home of the National Railway Museum. It's also a vibrant station with a lot of activity. Out into the countryside again, this time looking for landmarks. Back on the journey, and I was soon reminded that it was tea time. Was that Leicester we almost stopped at? I recognise that guy.
That's New Bridge.
No, King's Cross. Several. May have to do it, so he's going to get a late train and have to do it. She said, I'll go with that train and say, I'll see.
We slowly ran across a bridge as we approached Newcastle. And we had to stop on the bridge while they found a platform for us. It gave us a chance to see many of the bridges that cross the river here.
Might make a bit of time.
Yeah, well, if you wait to see the guy from here, I'm sure.
Those things get everywhere. This is the hotel I stayed in Berwick on Tweed. Nice and close to the railway station. No need for a taxi. It's a coastal town overlooking the North Sea, and I'd been recommended to take a cliff-top walk. In doing so, I came across the remains of Berwick Castle. Not much left of it, I'm afraid. Just the odd tower and a bit of ruined wall. But the views were marvellous. It's clearly a very popular camping holiday place with loads of caravan parks around. And the kiddies are cared for, but not now, because this is late afternoon. There seemed to be a cliff-top walk, so I took it. As I said, the sea views are fine, except perhaps for the occasional wreck. I wasn't alone enjoying my walk. Then I came across a golf links. Lovely day for a game, despite the wind. Oh, but that's what the earlier sign should have read. Now they tell me. It must be great to play a round of golf in weather like this, overlooked by Berwick's historic past. I've travelled on many scenic railways in my time, but this trip to Edinburgh, along the coast of the North Sea, is one of the best that I've ever travelled. All sorts of people are waiting for the train, which, you may have noticed, is ultimately destined for Aberdeen. So goodness knows what other scenic delights are available on the way there. This short video really doesn't do justice to the trip, but you'll get some idea of the pleasure that it brought me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to those that just joined us at Base Point 2. This service is an 8:31 Eastwood service to Aberdeen. The next calling point for the two will be stand by at approximately 25 minutes time. Thank you.
Well, we're slowing down on our approach to Edinburgh's Waverly Station, most of which feels underground to me. However, I hope you enjoyed the trip. This must be one of the busiest railway stations in Britain. Waverly Station in Edinburgh. Trains of all kinds and companies are coming and going all the time. The station itself gives the impression of being underground. But the style of the concourse is immediately recognisable. With platforms numbered 1 to 19, you need to plan your journey and know where you're going. And that's just to get around the station. Trains for unrecognised destinations abound, with rail company logos that are quite new to me, a southerner. It's interesting to see people getting on and off a train. Some stride on with confidence, others dither about. To me, with the exotic destinations of so many trains bound for towns all over Scotland, it makes me realise that there's much more to explore here, and Waverly Station is clearly the place to start. My holiday almost over, it was time for the return trip to London. We crossed the viaduct at Berwick, giving great views of the River Tweed, with the North Sea on the other side of the train. And soon we're into the rolling countryside of Northumberland. Surprisingly quickly, we approach our first stop, Newcastle. Now this turns out to be a very busy station. But we move on, and we are soon crossing one of the many bridges over the River Tyne.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome aboard to passengers joining us in Newcastle. And this is 10:58 East Coast service to London King's Cross. This service is now scheduled to call at Darlington, York and London King's Cross, where we're due to arrive and terminate at approximately 13:55.
Travelling first class is great. You really get looked after. The train soon picks up speed and hurtles through the smaller stations, and it doesn't stop long at the larger ones. Somewhere along the line we seem to have lost the sunshine. It gets cloudier as we approach London. So here we are, back at King's Cross Station in London. First class all the way and worth every penny.